It's now day 5 of the U.S.-Israeli war with Iran. This morning, Israel's military announcing a new broad wave of strikes on Tehran and the Lebanese capital of Beirut.
It comes as an Iranian official says the country's assembly of experts is close to selecting a new leader. We're joined now by former U.S. ambassador to Israel, Daniel Shapiro, also a distinguished fellow at the Scowcroft Middle East Security Initiative. We thank you for joining us. Let's just talk first here. Let's start with Israel. What's their ultimate goal in this conflict, and where do they stand right now as a power in the region?
Good morning. Well, the Israelis are seeking, first of all, to complete work they did last June to degrade and ultimately destroy Iran's nuclear program. But there's another threat which they've really focused on over the last several months, which is the Iranian ballistic missile program. That threat, which is represented by over 2,000 Iranian ballistic missiles that can reach Tel Aviv, and I'm talking to you from a shelter in Tel Aviv because they've recently fired some toward Israel, is one that the Israelis feel really needs to be degraded very quickly before Iran massively upgrades and increases that inventory. Now, of course, they would love to see the Iranian regime fall. They participated in and really took out the supreme leader on the first day of the war. But that is not something that they know how long it's going to take and how long that's going to happen. So I think the most important thing for them is to degrade this ballistic missile capability. What they've shown, obviously, is that they have great reach. Together with the United States, they are dominating the Iranian skies, and they are able to do a lot of damage. Whether it's enough to actually degrade that capability until President Trump decides that he's going to find an off-ramp is the great unknown at this point.
You mentioned you're in a bomb shelter. How long have you been in the shelter, and what triggered you rushing into that space?
A short time ago, there were sirens here in central Tel Aviv, and it appears to be the first time during this war that there were simultaneous launches from Iran and from Lebanon, where Hezbollah is also firing into Israel. So that's a sign that even 5 days into this war, when both Hezbollah and Iran have been hit very hard, they still have some ability to coordinate. They still have some get launches off, and suggests that this war could last for a number of weeks before either side feels that they just don't have the ability to do it anymore.
And in your opinion, you mentioned off-ramp before. What do you envision the off-ramp being a good months, weeks down the line? We had heard from our president, obviously, that the nuclear ambitions of Iran were obliterated back in the summer, and now we were told just 2 weeks ago from the president that an attack was potentially imminent. Where does it stand as far as the length of this in your professional opinion?
It all depends on President Trump. He said a couple of days ago that he could end the war in 2 or 3 days, or it could go for 4 or 5 more weeks. Now, that's a decision that I think will be influenced by the degree of chaos. Obviously, a lot of the Gulf states have been on the receiving end of drones and missiles from Iran, and damage has been done there, and their air defense stocks are holding, but may not hold forever. There are U.S. bases that have been hit. Oil prices are up. There have been U.S. service casualties. There have been casualties in Israel. There may come a point when President Trump will declare victory, that he eliminated the leader, that he significantly degraded various Iranian capabilities, more on the nuclear, some on the ballistic missile, and say this is enough. But if we're
Daniel Shapiro, I know we're having a little bit of trouble connecting with you as you're in a bomb shelter because of concerns as the sirens were going off. If you can still hear us, what is your thought in regard to Iran close to selecting a new leader, and what does the future of leadership look like in Iran, do you believe?
The Iranian regime is a durable, stable system. It's not one person. It's not just the supreme leader, the Ayatollah at the top. There are thousands, hundreds of thousands of members of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, perhaps 1 million members of their Basij, the paramilitary that enforces domestic security. And these are people who have a deep ideology in support of what the Iranian regime stands for, including its hatred of Israel and the United States. And they're also now in a war of survival. both from external threats by the United States and Israel, but also from internal threats if the Iranian people go back to the streets. So I think they will try very hard to hold on. They will use everything they have, both against their domestic opponents and against the external threats.
Obviously, Daniel is in a bomb shelter right now in Israel, but we thank him for taking a few moments to join us.
And we will continue to follow the latest developments on the war in Iran. Updates will be on air, online, and the CBS News app.